history of where in the world? Iceland. And we are in Iceland today, visiting with our friends Lars and Bjarni again. And we have Lars from the past, it looks like. We've got a time traveler today, I think, right? Very nice. So you guys better like the programming we've got today, or he's going to do something about it. So just be real careful here. So today what we are going to do is that our guests are going to show us a little bit about traditional Icelandic cuisine, which some of it is a little challenging. And when people travel to Iceland, they can try these things, right? Travelers who are visiting Iceland can try some of these things.
Some of these are hard to find.
Okay.
For travelers.
Okay.
There are very few brave chefs that serve this. Very few.
All right, excellent. Okay, well, take it away. It sounds like you are ready to go. So let's see what you've got going on.
Okay, now we are going to switch over to the stove. And I'm going to pick up one of the items.
Ja, kom in.
Kom in, ja. Anna, okay. Og þú stýrir hérna. Bara heldur á sig.
Bara heldur á sig bara einhvern veginn.
Do you see me now?
Yes, I do.
Now, what Laurus is doing now, the first thing we start with now, before we go into the dining room, Laurus is taking the sheep heads from the pot. They've been boiling for a few hours in just water and a lot of salt.
A fistful of salt, if you stumble up on this. So here we have the machine. Oops. See what is coming here. It's happy, it's smiling.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a sheep's head.
Yeah. I don't know the name of that sheep, but she probably was very nice.
Here you have them on plate.
As you, of course, know that in the old days, everything needed to be utilized and eaten. So Iceland is not the only country in the world that where we eat the sheep heads. This is also done now in Norway, and you can even in Spain get sheep heads, but they don't have the skin on. And what we do here in Iceland, we start with the sheep heads, and we have a burner, and we burn off all the hair. And then we brush the soot, and then it's ready for eating.
Yeah.
Now Laurus will introduce each plate.
All right. Here we have items that have been pickled in whey. Whey is the byproduct when you are producing skyr, a milk product. And here we have sheep head jelly. Here we have liver sausage. Here we have belly sausage. Here we have pickled whale fat. Here we have ribs pickled in whey. Here we have pickled ram testicles. Here we have a blood pudding or blood sausage. Here we have fermented shark. That's the best part on this plate. We have the sheep heads here already.
Now I'm going, oh, I'm good on this camera.
You are actually.
And here we have pickled herring in curry sauce, maybe not very Icelandic for the time we are presenting, but very good. Here we have non-pickled items. This is sheep head jelly. This is stomach.
Lamb belly.
Yeah, lamb belly. What do you call it?
Lamb belly pressed and smoked.
Yeah. Here we have sheep tongue smoked leg of lamb. And here we have brine pickled horse meat.
Wait, go back. Sheep dung smoked?
Yeah, sheep tongue smoked leg of lamb. Okay. That's really good.
Well, the dung was not only used for smoking the meat as a preservation. Dung was also used for cooking.
Yeah.
We didn't have trees. We had to use everything that we could.
So as we
To
say,
give
we
heat.
used everything from the land, even what it delivered.
Wow.
And then we serve it with mashed potatoes, mashed turnips, and white sauce, which is similar as
It's a sweet
sauce.
bechamel.
Yeah. The herring we serve with rye bread. Then we will drink this with a very special beer called Folklore, or the whale version 2. And this beer has been seasoned with sheep dung smoked testicles from the fin whale. Can you believe? It will not become more authentic. And then we serve, when we eat the shark, we shallow it with brennivin, Icelandic snaps. This is a new type, actually, very good one. And it has been induced with rye bread, the black bread you see here. The black bread you see here may have been baked in hot springs.
Wow. Well, you know what?
We-
So far, I
we
have to
take
tell
the
you,
dough,
this looks a lot more appetizing than when it was described to me. Like when we talked about it and in my head, I was thinking this stuff would look not appetizing at all, but actually it looks delicious.
Yeah.
well, that is of course only dependent on our skills of presentation.
And yeah, and I can assure you this is delicious. This is really
Yeah, I
good.
can tell.
Yeah.
So people
And
who are watching out there, our audience today, I just want to let you know that I am monitoring questions. And so please ask us questions. And if there's anything you'd like for Lars and Bjarni to clarify, just be sure to let me know. I wanted you guys to know that we've got people from all over the United States watching right now. We've got some friends from Nevada, from Florida, from Texas, from Arizona. So you got an all-American audience here watching. So let's go.
Yeah, we are ready to cut the meat.
Now,
All right.
just a little add-on for the rye bread. It's slowly cooked.
Yeah, it takes about 24 hours to bake it in hot spring.
We take the dough, put it in containers, and where we have hot springs, there's sand on the, well, let's call it just a beach. And we put the containers in the ground and cover it with hot sand. Then we wait 24 hours and then we take it out. And then it has had those 24 hours to simmer and it's fully cooked.
Wow. So home cooks, people do that. Home cooks. I could do that if I was.
No,
No.
not many people do that.
Okay.
We are idiots, so we do it once in a while, but usually people don't do that.
Okay. Wow. Fantastic. Okay.
Now, Laura's the sheep's head. I think that's the next interesting point.
Yeah.
If you want to
Maybe
cut it.
Put the camera over here and see how it comes out. And then we sit at the table and we will be feasting for you Americans.
I think it's not only, this will be international.
Yeah, it's a worldwide broadcast, isn't it?
Yeah, we're
Yes.
getting famous.
we
I am
have
going to
people-
have a little shaving, so I will take off my helmet and my
Right.
wig.
We normally have people
And,
from Australia.
We
and
usually,
England
we
and all
usually
over
don't eat with weapons, so I take off my weapon again. Also, so Bjarni, gjörðu svo vel.
Á ég að enda eða hérna megin? Nei, já, hérna.
Hérna í glasið. Do you see us?
I can see you just perfectly. And actually what you're going to do next is exactly what the viewers have asked. They're asking if you can slice into some of these things so they can see what the texture
Yeah, I'm gonna put a little beer into our glasses. This is the whale beer. Very good. And this is something you will only find in Iceland.
You said away beer?
Yeah, it's as I told you, it was seasoned with sheep and smoked testicles from fin whale. And I'm gonna drink from this horn.
But the portions of the whale in the beer, I think it's probably 1 teaspoon for every 5,000 gallons.
Yeah. But we say skál in Icelandic.
Skål.
Go.
Welcome.
That is quite a authentic looking cup you've got there. Is that
Yeah.
bullhorn? Is that
Now
what
I pour a little brennivin into his staup, little glass. We call it staup in Icelandic.
All right. You've got a gorgeous view behind you, by the way. Is that
No, that's behind the mountains. If you can see them, you have Europe. We are on the American side. The mountains in the background, they are on top of the Mid-Atlantic Ridge.
Ah, okay.
Ég skal skera bara.
No.
Ég skal taka neðri kemman og þú efri. Þú ætlar að taka auðvitað.
No.
Now this is the sheep's head. And we just cut it open.
And I take the better half.
Laurus takes the better half.
And you see how it looks like? You have the teeth here.
Why is it the better half?
Because it has my favorite part of the sheep head. I'm gonna start by, usually I save it until last, but it will probably be boring for your audience to watch people eating for a long time. So I want to start with my favorite bite, that is pulling out the eye. Músina. Músina og
Kora.
We put a little mashed potatoes with this and mashed turnips.
Now, as we have discussed, the main thing was everything needed to be utilized. Everything that had protein or energy or fat, that was eaten. So the fatter the meat, the better.
So this is the eye.
Are you still connected?
So a question just popped up on the feed. Are there any vegetarians in Iceland?
Yes, yes.
We are secondary vegetarians.
Okay.
Yes, there are vegetarians in Iceland. We call them lousy fishermen.
Yeah. Also, I say that I am a secondary vegetarian because I eat vegetarians.
You eat vegetarians.
Yeah. So here you see the eye has been taken out and swallowed. Isn't it nice?
Okay, I have to ask you then, I've never eaten an eye before. I've eaten a lot of things. I've eaten bugs, I've eaten all kinds of weird stuff, but I've never eaten an eye. What does it taste like and what is the texture?
It's very soft. It's like eating a fat, or if you like a fat from the meat. So it's very soft and juicy.
Okay. So a little bit like liver or something.
Yeah.
I would say like if you have a pork belly and you cook it until it's about an hour overcooked, and the fat, it's very soft and juicy. The consistency is very similar to the eye.
Gotcha.
And here on I've got the lower jaw. Here I have the tongue of the sheep.
And that is for many of the beginners buy.
Yeah, the children, they, my children at least, when they started eating lamb heads, the tongue was the best part.
My kids like tongue. You know, that's something you can still get at some butchers in the US.
Yeah, you can get it from other animals.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
My kids like going to the butcher, and they get to have a special treat when they go to the butcher, and so they'll pick out things like they would like to have a whole sheep or cow tongue, and we'll cook that. They like that. How is it?
It's beautiful.
So who cooked that tonight?
I did it this time,
Okay.
and it took me about 2.5 hours for cooking with just water and a fistful of salt.
That's it, just water and salt. Okay.
Yeah, it's very easy to cook.
So we have another question. Somebody's asking if the horn that you drink your beer from, does that add any flavor? Or is it for show?
It's just for the show.
It's for show, okay.
And I say skål to that question. That means
That
cheers.
was, yeah, cheers, yeah. Skål,
Skål.
the best question yet.
That is. So when you do tours, as we're going to do a tour together in September,
Yeah.
do you find these things for your groups? Do you get allowed?
It is possible
Yeah.
that in most of our tours, we don't see these items
Okay.
because these are not served on any normal restaurant. There is actually a Viking restaurant here in our town. You can have some of these items there. I don't know about any restaurant serving, for example, the horse meat or the pickled whale, except when we have this festival. We are having this dinner now because we are celebrating an old Viking month. We call this month Þorri. And Þorri was actually one of the descendants of the first forefathers of the Vikings. His great-great-grandfather was the first one to come to Norway. And he had a son named Kári, who had a son named Jökull, and who had a son named Snær, which had a son named Þorri. And Þorri was a king in northern Sweden, Finland, and Gotland, maybe thousands years ago. And we celebrate this every year here in Iceland. It's about 1 month time from late January until late February. Then you can find these items in the stores and on certain restaurants that serve them.
But there are more than one restaurant that sell these this traditional food. There's one in, I remember in Reykjavik, close to the Hallgrímskirkja, the big church.
Yeah, but they only serve a very little portion of it. They serve only this jelly here and maybe one there.
The whale.
The ram testicles and the shark. But here you see the lower jaw of the lamb.
Yep.
I'm sure that we Bjarni, we lived in the same village when we were kids and we were playing together. And we were playing Indians and cowboys and using these jaws as guns.
Wow.
When we did not have real play guns to play with.
So you've known each other your whole lives, basically.
Yeah, we were in same class in child school from
Yes.
yeah, from
6 years old or so.
yeah until 11 or something like that.
And just by pure coincidence, we started working for the same company as guides.
Wow, that's great.
Both had a career in doing something else. And then, well, I don't know what Laurus's reason was, but like I told you on Monday, I had my full share of spreadsheets and decided to do something else and went into the tourist business.
Mm-hmm. And that was actually a very obvious turn to do here in Iceland over the last few years, because tourism was exploding so greatly. And everybody that wanted to work in that business, they were able to find a job.
Even Laurus and I.
Yeah. They were the last ones to join the jump on the
So
ship.
what did you do before you became a tour guide?
I was mainly a finance manager, or some years I had was IT consultant, and for some years I was a general manager.
And Loris, what did you do before?
My background is geology, but I have never worked in the fields I studied. I studied geology in university, then I went teaching for about 10 years. Then I was working for US Navy for about 8 years before they left Iceland. And then I've been selling lipsticks and eye shadows with my wife, because she operates a lipstick shop. And yeah, then I started this business, which is a very quick CV, very short.
Well, you know, I think that's common though. It seems to me that most of us who are in this business as tour guides, we came from something else that we liked, but we didn't love, right?
Yeah.
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 And I think that the one thing we've learned from this pause in tourism is how much we do love our jobs.
That's correct. Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be crazy to work in tourism, but it helps.
Yeah, I think I'm going to make a t-shirt with that on it. that you don't, I don't have to be crazy, but it helps.
Yeah, that's a very good comment, Benny.
Well, Laurus, what would you like to try next?
Why not the horse meat?
So where would you go to get all of these different kinds of meats? Does any butcher sell it? Does the grocery store sell it, or do you have to?
In Iceland, we don't have any butchers, as you call it, but just general stores, and you find these in the general stores.
Really? Even a sheep's head you can buy at the grocery store?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Frozen sheep that you can buy all year round.
Yeah. This is something, you see, it has a very thick chunk of fat. Mm-hmm. And this has been preserved in brine for some months before eating. It's really good.
I have had horse before. I will say that's a specialty of a region of northern Italy, and they have it a lot there, and it's pretty good. I mean, it depends on.
Yeah. It was actually banned in Iceland when we converted to Christianity in year of 1000, except for a small village area in the south where they were allowed to keep the old tradition. And for most of our medieval and late medieval time, then nobody ate this in Iceland except those few people. But recently this spread out again, so more and more people are enjoying it.
Yeah,
there was also a thriving business of exporting horse meat to Japan. In Japan, they want their meat fat, and the fatter the better.
Huh. Okay.
Like this is mostly from a very old horse, maybe 15, 20 years old horse. And the Japanese also like the old horses for their sushi or what they do with it. So it's a really fascinating fight. Maybe also I have the shark for you.
Now this is something I will try, right? You're going to have this for me when I come.
Yeah, of course. This is something you can buy almost all year round. And this is from a shark called the Greenland shark. And it's not only that this bite is old due to its preparation, it may be 6 to 12 months old processing time, then this animal holds the world record of longevity. They have found individuals that may have been born before Columbus came to America. And I may be eating one of them here.
Wait, what? So they can be 400 years old, 500 years old?
Yeah.
What?
And it must be really, really great to be a shark because they are children until 100 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, imagine that. Here, the humans, we complain about children until 2030, but they are immature until about 100 years of age.
I would agree with that. You know, I'm in my 40s and I still think of myself as a kid. So,
Yeah.
oh, if only it were true. So I have a question somebody asked is, if you are a vegetarian and you're visiting Iceland, are you going to have a problem finding something to eat?
No, not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. It used to be a problem, but the vegetarians are widespread and they are growing in population all over Iceland. So I think in every, as you call it, ravens, then you can find vegetarian cuisine.
Okay. All right. So one of the other things that we wanted to talk about while you guys are eating today is some of the traditions, because Reed had told me you have some fun stories about different traditions. We talked a little bit yesterday about the rocks and how they think elves live in the rocks, and so they build highways.
Yeah.
So what are some of the other traditions?
We, in Iceland, we have this belief that the rocks, especially in the lava fields, they are occupied with hidden people or elves. These hidden peoples, they are very much like us humans in appearance, except they don't appear, they are invisible. And they are actually from the same origin. They say that the hidden people, they were the children of the dirty children of Eve. One day when Adam was walking around in Eden, before he was kicked out, he met God. And they had a chat together. And God decided to visit them to see how they are living. And on the day of visit, Eve started to prepare everything, cleaning the house, cleaning the children, and so everything would look nice for God when he came. But God came earlier than they expected, so few of the children hadn't been cleaned yet. So she did not want to present them to God. She put them aside in a different room and ordered them to stay there until God was away. And she only presented the clean children. So when God saw the group of the children, he said to Eve, "Oh, Eve, so these are beautiful children. Are they all your children?" And Eve, of course, did not omit what she just had done. And she said, "Yes." "All right," said God, "so it will be." And since then, the children she put away has never been seen by humans, except those who have a second sight.
Wow.
And I told you yesterday about a place here nearby. It's actually in the center of the capital area in Iceland. There is this rocky hill, and in that rocky hill there lives an old elf with his teenagers. I don't know if they age like the men, but this was the occupation in the late 30s.
Maybe they
And
aged.
they had in that town planned to lay a road exactly where this rock hill was. But just before the road construction came to the rocky hill, the funds for the project miraculously drained, and they had to cancel it for about 10 years, and we had the wartime and everything like that. So nothing was much done here at that time. And in the late 40s, they planned to start this project again. And they brought some drills and wanted to blast it away with dynamite, but every time they put the drill into the rock, the drills cracked. So they gave up on the project for a few decades. And in the late 70s, I think it was 79, they planned to do this again. But when the contractor that was preparing for this, he experienced unexplained loss of equipment, and his machines started to break down. And he said to the municipal authorities, well, guys, there is something here in this hill. I will not do this job. And after that, they said, okay, 3 times we had tried it. That's all. And this hill is not protected. But they managed to squeeze the road around it. So this 2-lane road is squeezed to 1-lane road just to pass this hill.
Wow, that's amazing. So I just wanted, for the people who are watching right now, I'm just going to share my screen real quickly to show you some images that of little elven huts. So these are huts people build in Iceland. So little tiny. So this is their image here of the elves of Iceland, just the little men with the beards and the red hat. And then these little houses. So these houses that I'm showing here, can you find these all over Iceland, or is this just in a certain part of Iceland?
I don't see the photo you are sharing.
They're the little Icelandic elf huts that people build sometimes.
Yeah, you'll find them as a decoration.
Yeah.
And if you have seen a movie, Eurovision myndin. The Eurovision movie with
yes, the Eurovision movie. Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
That was so
they
good.
played a little bit with this there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I have to ask you then, wait a second. What did you guys think of that movie? What did Icelandic people
We loved it. We loved it.
Really?
Yeah, it was really good. At least I loved it. I don't know Bjarni. It was silly, but it was good.
Yeah, mainly silly.
So is there anything true about Icelandic culture in it? Nice smile.
Let's just talk about the elves, because the tradition of or believing in supernatural things like elves is that's not unique for Iceland. But one of the reasons for it keeping in Iceland or becoming, let's say, a tradition, my belief is that it is, let's call it Prozac, because things were harsh. Life was bitter, and you had a lot of children that died. You even had to bear out children because the household could not support further mouths. so the children were possibly let out, and nature took care of them, and they died. But in those days, they did not have Prozac. So it was a good thing to believe that those children that died, they were taken, the belief was they were taken by the elf queens. And the elves, they had better housing, they had better food, they had better clothes. So keeping that tradition alive, my opinion is lack of Prozac.
That's kind of
It's actually, you can actually see those elves in certain times of the year. We just passed it now. It was on New Year's Eve and on what we call the 13th day of Christmas, or January 6th. Then these fellows may be visible if you are located correctly. We have to sit on crossroads, as we call it. Crossroads are not roads crossing like you have in America. Crossroads are where you can see 4 churches from one spot. And if you are on the right place, on the right time, you can see the elves when they change places.
The 6th of January, or the 13th day of Christmas, that is where, when the elves want to move, exchange housing or whatever they do, that is the day they do it. And like Laura says, if you are positioned on crossroads, you can see them.
okay. So, but what are you really seeing?
You will see the parade of elves carrying all their goods to the new place. But you have to be careful, because they may see you too, and they may tempt you with some of their goods, but you have to keep silent all the time. If you open your mouth, respond to their offers, you lose your mind. You get insane and probably spend the rest of your life in chains.
I think I've seen a lot of elves because I'm a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
I think all of us tour guides have seen elves in
Yeah.
that's the situation.
Now, of course, this is folklore and beliefs, but we keep them alive. This is part of us as Icelanders, to have all these strange creatures, trolls, elves, hidden people, and what have we. And well, I don't know many people that say they have seen it, but still, why not?
Yeah. I think everybody have or know somebody that has experience with elves.
Skull again, skull.
Yeah.
All right, skull. Skull.
As you see outside the window, it's evening here.
Yeah, somebody actually had asked what time of the what time is it now? Because you are not as far as Europe. You are like
It's 20 minutes before 7 o'clock here.
okay.
We are on Greenwich Mean Time.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so you're on British time then, huh? I would have thought, because you're much further to the west than Britain. So
Yes,
Yeah.
actually, we are probably about an hour
And a half.
hour and a half
From the
from
correct time. Yeah.
the correct time.
okay. Huh, yeah, I would have thought the time would have been different there, because yeah, you're, and that's the interesting thing, is the location of Iceland is, it's actually not very far from the United States. I mean, when I was looking to fly to Europe this past summer by way of Iceland, the flight from Seattle to Iceland is like 5 hours.
From Seattle? No, it's more.
It's from New York, it's 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, you have to add the crossing over the states. I think it's about 7, 8 hours from Seattle.
From Seattle, though, we go over the pole. 7 or 8
yeah.
hours, 8 hours
Oh,
No,
to Amsterdam.
oh, so it goes for far north.
Yeah, so it's 5
Okay.
or 6 hours. I remember thinking 5. I haven't looked for a while, but the schedule I think I remember was 5 or 6 hours. It's really
All
strange.
right.
Yeah, so
My wife went to San Francisco last year. I think it was 6 hours.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, so it's actually probably faster for me to fly to visit you in Reykjavik than it would be for me to fly to New York City.
Yeah, okay. That's strange. All right.
Isn't that
And a lot much nicer.
yeah, a lot nicer.
Well, the locals are nicer than New Yorkers.
And well, and the scenery is so dramatic too, and clearly the food is really fantastic too. So,
Oh, yeah.
all right. So,
And this is a very healthy food.
all right. Have you tried the testicles yet? Because I think that's the one thing I haven't seen you try yet.
No. I don't. No.
So your favorite, I think, out here is probably the horse. Is that your favorite thing on the table?
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. Yeah.
Laura's favorite is the horse. I really don't like it. My wife loves it.
Again, we have the whale also, the whale fat.
Okay.
These are the testicles, and I think Laura has said it before. Everything that goes into the whey to preserve it and it's pickled in the whey. It's cooked before.
Okay.
And strangely, of these items, the foreigners that try them, most of them like the testicles.
Really?
Yeah,
Because they're just like what, meatballs? I mean, what is the texture? What is
it's very hard to. I would guess it's maybe like tofu. I don't know.
ah?
The consistency is probably somewhere in between tofu and bologna.
Ah, so it's kind of
But
like a
it's sour. But it's sour.
That's the consistency, but yeah.
okay. Yanni, what is your favorite thing on the table today?
Whale, shark, the smoked lamb, herring.
Yeah, and the sheep.
As you maybe cannot see, I like food. So I would start with the least favorite. That would probably be the Laura's favorite, the horse meat.
Okay, so you tend to like seafood then, more.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not much for seafood, except it is a little bit rotten.
No, I've been for many years on the seafood diet. I see food and I eat it.
Yeah.
That's a classic joke.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got on the table, you've got whale, you've got shark, you've got horse, you've got sheep, and then you have some vegetables too. You said you have potatoes, and then you also have rutabagas, right, or turnips?
Turnips, yes. The mashed turnips and touch of sugar in them,
Okay.
and then just mashed potatoes.
Wow, that is quite a feast. That looks fantastic. All right, so is there anything else
Yeah,
tried yet?
I expected that Bjarni would eat more, so I wanted to be sure that I would fill his belly, but very likely I will feast on this for next few days.
Laura has food for 10 people on the table.
Well, it's too
the
bad you
prob-
can't just mail it over to me and I could help you finish it. I have teenagers, so.
Yeah. Maybe when we have this, maybe in 2-3 years, we could send over the smell of the shark and things like that. So, but the technology doesn't allow that yet.
Yep.
I've had French friends coming over from, for a visit and staying with us. And there were 4 families that came at one time. And they were trying the shark. And they really liked it. And they were discussing this was the same taste as a cheese in some monastery somewhere up in that mountain or the other. So the stronger stories you hear about the shark, that's from the people that have, what can I say without making anybody too sad, where the palate is very narrow.
Gotcha.
Was that?
Yeah. Well, you know, and that's the thing is that I always tell people that you have to take the no thank you bite. You know, when we're in
Yeah.
Southeast Asia, you have to try eating the bugs because that's what they eat there. And
Yeah.
you understand the local culture better. You don't have to like it. You just have to try it, right?
Yeah, and many people actually vote for the shark as the most exotic food in the world. And I think the beer I am serving here probably has also been voted the most exotic beer in the world on some ratings. So it's a very exotic dinner we are having here tonight.
It is. That is an extremely exotic. I mean, for me, it's extremely exotic. Probably not
Yeah.
for you, but for everybody watching, I think.
Now, for us, this is food.
A very good food.
Excellent. Well, I look very much forward to coming and having a wonderful feast like that with both of you. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Mhm.
So, one other thing I wanted to talk to you about, Loris, is tomorrow, are we going to try to do a virtual walk?
Yeah, that would be very nice.
Okay.
But can we have a little dry run, as we call it?
Yeah, we can
Because,
do that.
Yeah.
So
So
what
can
time would
see
you like
if you can hear anything that I say or
Sure.
like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, what time would you like to do that tomorrow? Earlier, right?
Maybe from 1 hour before.
It was, we went over this on Monday. The plan was 8 o'clock your time.
Yes. 8 o'clock my time. Okay, that sounds great. As long as that works.
But you can change it, but that was the plan. That would be, I think, 4 o'clock Icelandic time. So we have plenty of
Oh.
light still.
Okay. Yeah.
Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. So for everybody
And I
watching,
was thinking, is there a time for a folk story?
absolutely, yes. If you got a folk story, tell us.
All right. I'm going to tell you the story of Búkolla. Are you ready for it?
I am. I'm ready.
Okay. The story goes something like this. Long time ago, in a remote small valley here in Iceland, there lived a family of 3, father, mother, and a son. And one morning when the lady of the farm came to the cow shed and wanted to milk Búkolla, the cow, that's the name of the cow, she found out that the cow had been stolen. And this was a terrible news for this farm because they depended so greatly on the product from the cow. So their only option was to send their son to go and search for it. And his protocol was not to return without it because they wouldn't be able to feed him anymore. And when, before he started, they prepared him with a picnic and new shoes that was necessary for this trip. And the shoes were very likely made from fish skin, and they hardly lasted half a day. So they gave him 3 pairs of shoes. And when he was ready to head on, he climbed to the top of a big rock, and then he shouted into the air as loud as he could. Say mo, Mami Búkolla, wherever you are. And after a little while, he received a faint reply from Búkolla. So, but that gave him an idea into which direction to head. So he walked for most part of the day, and in the middle of the day, he was hungry and tired, so he had some picnic and a little rest, and then he put on a new pair of shoes, and he shouted for the second time, "Say mo, Mami Búkolla, wherever you are." And now he received a slightly stronger reply from the cow. So he were convinced that he were going to the correct direction and continued. And when the day came to the dusk, he approached a big mountain. And under the hills of the mountains, he shouted for the third time, "Say moo for me, moo, Kotla, wherever you are." And now he received a strong reply from the cow. And that came from a cave up in the mountain. So he climbed the mountain and he peeked into the cave. And in the cave, he spotted Bukotla. But Bukotla was tied to the bed of a giant. And around that giant were sleeping several giants, snoring and having loud. But the boy was brave, so he sneaked into the cave, released the cow, and headed back home. Because he knew that when it was still daylight, the giants would be sleeping. But soon the night came over, and the giants woke up, and they noticed the smell of a human in the cave. So they shouted and they yelled at each other, and then they spotted that Bukotla was away. So two of the giants decided to chase the boy and Bukotla. And when those giants started to run, the earth shook and trembled under their heavy feet, so the boy was soon aware of what was happening. And with great fear in his mind, he turned to Bukotla and said, "Oh, my dear Bukotla, what can we do now? The giants are chasing us, and soon they will reach us, and then they will break every bone in my body and take you back to the cave." But Bukotla was a little bit magic, and she could reply and said, "Take one hair from my tail and put it on the ground, and I shall make so big lake from it that nobody can go across it except the flying birds." And so did the boy do, just before the giants caught them. And as soon as the hair hit the ground, the huge lake popped up between the giants and the boy. The giants had to stop, but the boy could continue with Bukotla. And the giants weren't happy with this, and one of the giants turned to the other and said, "That was a massive trick by the boy, but I have a solution for this. Go back to our cave and fetch a giant bull that we have over there and bring it here to the lake." And the other giant did as he was ordered to do. And a few moments later, he came back with a giant bull, took it to the lake, and the bull simply drank up the entire lake. So the giants could start running again. And soon the boy were aware of that the earth was shaking and trembling again, and the giants were on the chase. And with great fear in his voice, he turned to Bukotla and said, "Oh, my dear Bukotla, what can we do now? The giants are chasing us again. And soon they will reach us, and they will break every bone in my body and take you back to the cave." And like before, Bukotla was calm and relaxed and replied, "Take one hair from a tail and put it on the ground, and I shall make so big fire from it that no one will be able to come across it except the flying birds." And so did the boy too, just timely before the giants caught them. And as soon as the hair hit the ground, the flames burst like in California. And the giants had to stop, but the boy and Bukotla could process a little bit further. But the giants weren't happy with this, and one of the giants shouted at the other, "That was a nice trick by the boy, but I have a solution for this. Go back to where we left the bull by the lakeside and bring it here to the fire." And so did the other giant do. And a few moments later, he came back with the bull. And the bull that so recently had drank up an entire lake needed to pee. So they simply let it pee on the fire and could extinguish it completely. They should hire a bull like that in California. And when the fire was out, the giants could start chasing again. Like before, the earth started trembling and shaking, and the boy were aware of what was happening and turned to Bukatla for the third time and said, "Oh, my dear Bukatla, what can we do now? The giants are chasing us, and soon they will reach us and break every bone in my body and bring you back to the cave." But Bukatla was calm and relaxed like before and replied, "Take one hair from my tail and put it on the ground, and I shall make some big mountain from it, and no one will be able to come across it except the flying birds." And so did the boy do, just timely before the giants got him. Put the hair on the ground, and the huge mountain rose up so high and so steep that the giants couldn't come across it. And they weren't happy with this. And one of the giants shouted at the other, "Ah, that was a nasty trick by the boy. But I have a solution for this. Go back to our cave and fetch a giant cave driller we keep over there." And the other giant did exactly as he was ordered to do. And a few moments later, he came back with a cave driller. And they immediately started drilling into the mountain. But the mountain was huge and the rocks were hard. So this took a long time. But finally, they managed to drill through the entire mountain. And but unfortunately, this had taken them so long time that at the time when they stuck their head through the mountain on the other side, the sun was already shining in the middle of the day. And that's a bad news for the giants in Iceland, because when sun shines on the giants, they are turned into stones. So those giants stand still in this mountain as big pillars peeking over the lowlands below. But the boy and Bukatla safely made it back home with a great joy of their family. That was the end of the story.
Well, not actually the end of the story, because when you come to Iceland, we will show you that mountain.
Yeah, we have this, but this is a true story.
It's a true
Of
story.
course
Okay.
it is.
Well, Iceland sounds like the place where all of the fairy stories are true stories. So skull to that. There you go.
Oh,
Oh yeah, go.
Skull. Well, my friends, this has been so much fun. I have loved having virtual dinner with you, even if I'm just having my breakfast while you're having your dinner. And I cannot wait to get a chance. So I want to try, when I come in September, the whale and the shark. And I don't know, I'll let you pick some of the other stuff out. And I will take a bite. I
If
promise.
we can find a restaurant to do this, we will prepare the fish for you.
Fantastic.
And I will keep this here on the table until you come.
All right.
it will be fermenting until September.
It'll be
It
fermented.
will be even better in September.
Oh, awesome. That's great. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for all of your hard work you put into putting this presentation together tonight. It's been really super fun. And I hope that everybody watching has really enjoyed it as well. And you can smell the food through your computer. You got to get a little closer and stick your nose closer to your phone or your tablet. You can be sure to smell it more. Because they're setting it.
On the left side of the tablet.
The smell from this jar here with a shark,
Yeah.
it can be familiar for parents with young children that still use diapers.
Oh,
That
it smells like
when
that.
they have a pain for the diapers, they call it diapers in a pain, maybe for 2 or 3 days. This is a very similar smell.
On the tour in September, we will go through the process of how the shark is fermented and why it is fermented. We can't tell you all our secrets yet.
Okay. We won't do all the secrets yet. So for everybody watching, I want to thank you guys for joining us for this wonderful meal. And I want to thank our guests, Bjarni and Lars, coming to us live from Iceland for this wonderful treat tonight. And for those of you watching, if you want to go to Iceland, we actually have just a couple of spots left on the departure that I'm doing in September. It's almost full, but there is a second departure after, and you will get to spend a lovely vacation with our friends Laudis or Bjarni on one of those trips. So we're going to see you tomorrow, Laudis. We'll meet a little bit early, but for those watching, around 8 o'clock tomorrow, we're going to be, we hope, a live virtual tour. If it's too windy, we can't promise it because it'll be the noise will make it not work, but we're going to give it a shot. So there should be live, you get to see live a little bit of Iceland, and I'm looking forward to it. Thanks so much, you guys.
Really good.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Ciao. And have a nice evening or a nice day. It's an evening for us, of course. It's a day for you. You still have the day ahead. Okay,
All right, we'll see you tomorrow.